guys, this week we've got shoulders. And we're back here in Powerhouse Gym of Grand Haven. As always, we've got Matt with us today, and what we're going to do is we're going to be hitting shoulders. We're going to be doing 5 different exercises for shoulders. It's going to get quite crazy. Again, shoulders are probably my second favorite body group to work. It's just one of those body parts where the more quality of a rep that you get, just the more of a pump that you get, the more of a squeeze you get, and it's one of the finishing moves and finishing body part that really gives you that really nice look, that tapered look, and that V-taper that so many people go for is the big, nice, broad shoulders with the little waist. And this is one of the keys to doing it, is having those big, wide shoulders. So Matt, what are we going to be hitting today?
Alright, so like everything that we've done so far, we've talked about hitting the muscles from different angles, and that you really can't emphasize it enough with the shoulders. So with the shoulders, you have 3 different heads that you really want to try to focus on. Different exercises are going to hit the heads differently. So first we're going to start with side lateral raises, which is going to work the side delt, which is going to give you the width. Then we're going to go into rear lateral raises. Rear laterals, a lot of people skip them. They really give you that 3-dimensional look. So you really don't want to skip rear delts. You can really tell when you do. Then we're going to go into the front raises and upright rows. So with the front raises, we're going to be working more the front deltoid, and then upright rows, depending on where you position your hands, is going to work the muscles differently, which we'll talk about when we get there. And then dumbbell presses, so we've kind of pre-exhausted. Dumbbell presses kind of work everything. More the front delt and the side delt, not so much the rear delt, but it does have to stabilize a lot, so it's still working. And then we're going to burn out side lateral raises. So it's going to be intense, so stick with us and we'll get you through it.
One other thing real quick, guys, is just a little bit of the theory behind the workout that we put together today for you. Is the reason that we call it a pre-exhaust is what we're doing is we're starting out with more of just high rep movements, more of just exhausting the actual muscle before we get into the heavy press movement. And a lot of people wonder why a lot of just bodybuilders and fitness people in general do this. And correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but typically it's so that you have to use lighter weight and you're more in control of the weight by the time you get to these heavier movements. It's almost more of a self-check injury prevention system more than anything, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'll use it all the time if I'm starting to kind of get achy in the joints or whatever it may be and I need to back off, but you still want to be able to stimulate muscle growth. It's a great way to get the blood flow in there, pre-exhaust, everything's tired, so you don't have to use as much weight, but your body perceives it's just as heavy. Say you can do 90-pound dumbbell presses, normally now you're using 60, but your body perceives that it's still 90, so you're still stimulating growth, but decreasing risk of injury.
Awesome. All right, guys, see you in the gym. What's up, guys? First exercise that we're going to be doing today is the side lateral raises. These again are going to be working the side of your shoulder. Matt, anything else you want to add while I get these started?
No, these are just super, it's really important to be super strict with these. You'll see a lot of people swinging massive dumbbells around, and once again, just like we talked about with the bicep curls, you can use a lot of weight, but you're not necessarily hitting the muscle group that you want. So once you start swinging around, you're going to start involving a lot of different muscles. You really want to focus on the side head here. So if you're not feeling it there and you're feeling it elsewhere, you're probably using too much weight. Your traps are very, very powerful muscles. So once you start swinging around, you'll probably start feeling it in your traps. So if you're getting a trap pump or you're feeling your traps working a lot, you're probably using too much weight and you're not really using the side deltoid. So remember, these exercises are really important. They really give you that width. So if you're in round the shoulders, so if you want width and rounded shoulders, which everybody wants, really focus on feeling the side deltoids working on this. So a lot of people, you saw Aaron, he brought them out in front, but he was using really strict form. But you'll see a lot of people, once they bring the dumbbells in front, then it's all swinging, which isn't good. Obviously, we just talked about that. So slight elbow bend and then go out from your sides. I like to come out from the sides because then I'm not using any momentum. So lead with the elbows, come up.
And one thing I want to add here, guys, is for people who need like kind of a visual thing or kind of a thing to think about to make sure they're doing the proper form, is I was always taught when doing these properly, if you think about pouring a pitcher of water while you're going up, it really it makes you tilt your wrists out. Keeping your pinky over your elbow is another good thing that people try to think about. And what you're doing there is all you're doing is that way you're really working the side of the shoulder And like Matt said, the biggest thing with this exercise is a lot of people will use momentum. Now when you see me go in front, the only reason I did that was to prove a point that you can still do it in front. Now typically I will do it on the side of my body. Like I will start here and just go out because it does give you a little bit better of a pump. But if you have bad shoulders or something, sometimes it's easier just to go in, which it is, but just make sure that when you're coming down, that you're always in control the whole way down and you're stopping dead and then you're coming back up. So you're not using the swing up, okay? That's why you do it on the side. If you do it on the side, it kind of eliminates that swing up. This next one is bent over lateral raises. This is again going to work the back of the shoulder. This is an area that, like we've talked about in the intro, a lot of people miss, and it's actually one of the ways to make your shoulders look really big is to have a nice rounded cap. And you can't get the whole rounded cap if you don't do the bent over lateral raises or any rear deltoid movement. Matt?
Right, so to get that 3D look, you definitely need to hit the rear delts. A lot of bodybuilders and a lot of bodybuilding gurus will talk about, you know, you can really tell, especially if you're going to compete, the people that really don't focus on the rear delts. So the main focus here is your rear delts are a pretty small muscle, so going a little bit slower and really feeling that muscle work is really important. You'll see a lot of people though, once they go to the rear delts, they really start swinging, and then your very big, very large back muscles take over. So now it turns into a back exercise as opposed to a rear delt exercise. So make sure, just like everything else we've been doing, when you're doing rear delts, you want to make sure you're feeling your rear delts working. If they're not, if you feel, again, a pump in your traps or your back, or you're using too much momentum, then you're not doing the exercise correctly for your goals. So for me, I like to go a little bit wider. You want to go straight line from your shoulders. So if you go backwards, which is hard to see like this, it's going to be all back, not much rear delts. So good flat position, and you're going to go straight out and try to hold it at the top for a second.
Again, guys, to keep with that visual real quick, a lot of people, again, if you want something to think about to try to keep your form, is imagine that there's a can of Coke right in between your shoulder blades in the back, and you're trying to crush it, okay? What this is gonna do is it's gonna keep your elbows are your shoulders are your hinges, not your elbows. So if you're moving your elbows, you're doing more of a row. Whereas if you keep your elbows in a standard position and you're just trying to squeeze that back together and crush that Coke can, you're gonna feel it in your rear delt a lot more. The other thing is, remember guys, there's 3 parts to every single movement. The positive, the negative, and the static, right? So a lot of people that you'll see do this are gonna use a lot of weight, but they're gonna do one of these, bam. And notice how quick I'm down, how little time I spend on the static. I'm losing half the motion by doing that. So if I use lighter weight and I control it the whole time through, you're gonna really feel exactly where you're trying to work, and that's key for this muscle group. exercise, we're going to do front lateral raises, and we're going to do upright rows supersetted. The reason we're doing this is, again, we're just trying to completely exhaust the shoulder muscle at this point in the exercise because we have our hard press movement coming up next. So our biggest goal here is to try to just get everything out of this exercise that we can going into our heavy press movement. And there's no better way to do that than to do a superset. A superset, again, is just using 2 different exercises in concession to try to get a little bit more of the muscle fibers recruited during an exercise.
Yeah, what's nice too about supersets is if you're kind of lacking a little bit of time, you can get multiple exercises in and, you know, cut your workout basically in half, and it also increases the intensity. And the biggest thing your body responds to is intensity. So if you really, you know, your workouts have kind of missing some intensity lately, start adding some supersets, some compound sets. All those things are going to dramatically increase the intensity of your workout. So with the front raises, as you probably can already tell, is going to work more the front deltoid. So really isolating the front deltoid. Your front deltoid really does get a lot of work from all pressing movements, whether it's chest, your dumbbell presses, your barbell presses, all those things. Your front deltoids are working throughout. So you don't need a ton of extra work on your front deltoids, but to really cash them off, doing these is going to work well. During my set, I'll show you a couple different ways to hit the front deltoids. Now we're going upright rows. As you can see, the closer your grip, the more traps are going to come into play. The wider you go, the more you're going to really hit the side deltoid. So kind of play around, see how it feels. For some people, going too close really pinches the shoulder in a weird way. Obviously, you want to be pain-free whenever you're exercising. So if you feel anything pinching, grinding, something that's just abnormal, then change your grip or just don't do the exercise and find something else. All right, so like I said, there's different ways to do the front raises. One would be like the way Aaron was doing it. You can alternate it with the palm down, which is fine, palm down. Once again, just like the bicep curls, if you're limited on time, do them both together and then finish them off going one by one, because one side's going to be resting while the other side's working. You can do a couple extra reps. Another way to do it is thumbs up. So thumbs up, you want to feel like you're kind of reaching out. Thumbs up, you can do it again, both at the same time, and then finish off with alternating. And then you can kind of give it a little twist at the top. So you're going to go up, thumbs up, and then kind of twist at the top. Can't see that very well, but a nice twist at the top. The thumbs will kind of go out. So whatever you like, alternate it, switch it up. But here we go.
One other thing too, guys, is this is another exercise where you're going to see a lot of people who cheat a ton with momentum, okay? Especially with the front ones, you can really swing your body and really make it almost into like a clean movement, which is not what you're trying to do. Again, we're just trying to isolate the front delt. So how I found to really help myself from not cheating is, and I'll show you in my next set, is what you're trying to do is you're trying to rest the weight on your thighs, okay? And the reason you're doing that is that way when you bring it down, you're slow and controlled because you don't want to bruise your thigh. So you're actually getting the negative a little bit nicer. And then you stop it dead on your thigh, and then you use your other arm to pick up the other one. So that way there's no momentum swing. You're not swinging from your hips to try to get it up. You're just keeping your thighs as almost like a wall in front of you. And you'll see when I get into my next set, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. See how the weight's in front of me on my thighs? Now I'm already in the thumbs up position at this point that Matt was talking about. So that's how I do mine, is that I'm just right up, I'm bringing it down slow, touching the thigh, other arm, bringing it down, touching the thigh, and I'm not using any momentum this way. I'm using my thighs as almost like a wall. And this keeps incredible tension on the front delts and doesn't allow that momentum swing to really up the weight a whole lot. again, if you're doing them at this point in the workout, I can't stress enough how much either you should probably have a spotter or be very, very careful with how you do them, as your shoulder muscles are already going to be exhausted, and this requires a lot of stabilizer muscles. Please be aware that if you're doing this workout in this order, you will not be able to lift what you normally lift at this point, especially on these dumbbell presses. But let's get into them and show you kind of proper form on these, Matt.
So once again, your muscles do not know what weight you're lifting. Right now, this is probably half of what Aaron normally uses, but his muscles perceive it as just as much as he normally does. So it's still going to stimulate the growth, but I can tell you right now, his elbows, his shoulders aren't, the joints are thanking him at this point. So with here, you want to go down to at least a dip in the shoulder. A lot of people will do these partial range of motion presses, and you'll see them, they'll tend to have good triceps, because that's what you're really working is your triceps if you're not coming down. Remember, you got to stretch the muscle to stimulate the muscle to recruit the muscle fibers. So if you're not coming down, you're not getting good stretch in the shoulders, you're not recruiting all the muscle fibers. So to optimally recruit them, you got to go all the way down. So I always teach, you know, the dumbbells should go kind of past your ears. But you really want about, once that shoulder dips, then you know the shoulder is stretching. You can go down further. If you have a little bit of shoulder problems, kind of go within your pain-free range of motion, but you got to stretch the muscle. And then when you press up, you kind of want to go straight up and almost bring them together, but you don't want to lock out. That's going to take a lot of tension off the shoulders and put a lot of pressure on the elbows. So how I teach everyone to lift these up, right now I have them on my thigh, which you can't see very well, but just a very forceful lift up with the knee, and now you're in position.
And again, guys, real quick, that's another good reason to make sure that you, if you are working out with somebody else, getting those initial dumbbells up and into position, especially if you're not used to doing it, you can get injured really easily by doing that. So make sure that you're getting them up there as safely as you can. If you do have somebody that you're working out with, have them help you get those up. It just takes less strain on the shoulders, and it gives you a little bit more safety in the long run.
And the other thing you see with this exercise is everyone starts to get too heavy. Literally your lower back and then the rest of your back should be in contact with the back of the seat. You'll see a lot of people start sliding forward. It looks more like an incline press than a shoulder press. And you're putting a lot of strain on your lower back when you're doing that. So keep your core tight, stay against the back of the seat.
We're to the final exercise for shoulders, and we're doing a down the rack side lateral burnout. So what we're doing is we're taking 4 different weights, and we're doing them all to exhaustion, and then immediately going to the next weight down and the next weight down, and going until complete failure. Now the reason we're doing sides on these is because, again, if you're training for any type of bodybuilding or anything like that, you'll understand that the side shoulder and the width and the cap on the shoulder is one of the most important key pieces to a balanced symmetrical physique. So what we're really looking for is we're just trying to blast out anything we can just on the side of the delts at the end of this workout.
If you notice, we're seated, so now we're taking all the cheat out of it. There's no way to cheat. All the work is right on the side delts.
for this week, shoulders. Again, you saw side laterals, rear lateral raises, front lateral raises, upright rows, dumbbell presses, and a burnout finishing down the rack side lateral raise movement. Again, don't hurt yourself, guys. Always contact a physician before you do any of this stuff. This is our opinion, nothing more. So this is not a medical fact or anything that we're giving you. This is just our opinion on tips and tricks on how to really isolate your shoulders and really see those gains that you're looking for this New Year's and going into the following 2013. Keep in mind also that when you're doing any type of exercise, make sure you're really warming up well beforehand, really stretching, really making sure that every aspect of the exercise that you're doing is being warmed up. Matt?
Especially with the shoulders, you want to make sure they're really warmed up. So as you notice on some of the exercises, you could see that one of my arms goes a little bit higher than the other one. I really don't know why that happens, but this is the first time we can see ourselves working in front of the camera. But you can see, this is the first time I really could see a huge difference. So my training partner always tells me my arm goes higher, and you know, even in the mirror, it looks like they're even, but they're really not. So, so even when you think you're doing something right, look to find somebody to help you, or even film yourself doing it. One of the things I'm a strength and conditioning coach as well, and I work with a lot of athletes, and you know, I'll verbally tell them what they're doing wrong, and they're like, I don't feel it, I don't see it. And then you put it on camera and they go, holy cow, I see it now. So even when I did see it, it's still hard to correct, but I still, even though my form may have looked kind of funny and one arm's going higher than the other, I definitely have an insane pump right now. I definitely felt every single muscle fiber working throughout. So as long as you're really feeling it, I wouldn't worry too much about, you know, a little bit your arms going higher than the other or whatever it may be. But the biggest thing is to really optimize your gains, is really feel every single thing working, take the momentum out, take the ego out, and just work those muscle fibers until exhaustion.
Of course, guys, as always, we're here at Powerhouse in Grand Haven. Head over to Facebook, check them out. Also, you can check out Matt and get in contact with him at Lakeshore Elite Fitness on Facebook. And you guys can also go to the Powerhouse website, search Tourcotte Nutrition, search Powerhouse, and search Matt, all on the same site. Read a little bit more about them, what they have to offer you. As always, if you did like the video and you want to follow and see kind of where we're going on the channel as well with these videos and stay up to date, you can always throw me a subscribe, and then anytime one of my new videos comes out, it'll be right on your front page for you on YouTube. As always, again, guys, leave the comments below how it's going for you. I know I've had quite a few people, whether it be in person talking or via email or Facebook, I've had a lot of people really enjoy these videos and really try some of the workouts and really enjoy them. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Me and Matt are always on there checking about, I check about you know, once a day maybe, see if there's any new comments on there, and I'll answer them, or if I have any messages, I'll answer those personally, as will he if you need him to. So as always, guys, be safe, have fun, and we'll see you next week.